is using it himself.
Officer! Officer, I'm not... God damn it! Mercy! Give me a... Get the motherfucking dog!
Our story kicks off in a mysterious hospital by the sea, where a girl named Maddie sits with fear-filled eyes, staring straight into the camera, because in just a few moments, she's about to go under the knife for a dangerous operation. But the second the camera pulls back, we see something horrifying. Attached to the back of her body is a strange, twisted little creature, separate yet somehow still a part of her. And this thing? Its brain was so advanced that it could control everything around it without even touching a single object. And when it got angry, it could kill without blinking. That's exactly why the doctors had no choice but to restrain Maddie and surgically separate that creature from her body. But here's the catch. Their brains were wired together. Completely severing the connection would have killed Maddie instantly. So the doctors did the only thing they could. They sewed a piece of that creature's brain right back inside Maddie's skull. And just like that, the story jumps 20 years ahead. That same little girl is all grown up now, stunning, and about to become a mother herself. She has absolutely no clue that what's coming next is about to shake her to her core. The moment Maddie walks through her front door, she finds her husband glued to a boxing match on TV. Without a word, she grabs the remote and shuts it off. And that's it. That's all it takes for her husband to snap. He storms up and slams her head straight into the wall, with zero idea that this one act of rage is about to cost him his life. Maddie suddenly feels a sharp, deep pain in her head. Panicked, she rushes into a room and locks herself in, ignoring the pain completely. When she checks the wound, blood is pouring from the back of her skull, and things are only getting worse. But little does she know, her husband is about to pay the price for what he just did. That night, as he lies on the couch, he's jolted awake by a strange noise. He follows it into the kitchen and finds the blender running on its own, with nobody in the room. Stunned, he reaches out to switch it off, and right behind him, the fridge door swings open by itself. He's completely rattled now, unable to make sense of any of it. His first thought, maybe Maddie's trying to scare him. Suddenly, loud noises erupt from the living room, and he rushes over. Inside, he finds a woman dressed in black sitting on the couch, flipping through TV channels non-stop. The moment he flips the switch on, she vanishes into thin air. He convinces himself his eyes are playing tricks on him, but the cushion on the couch is still slowly puffing back up, proof that someone was just sitting there. Before he can even process it, that same dark figure appears right behind him. Upstairs, Maddie jolts awake at the sound of her husband's scream. She notices blood on her pillow, touches her head, and realizes the wound is still bleeding. Panicking, she races downstairs, only to find her husband lying dead, his neck twisted at an impossible angle. And sitting right beside the body is that same dark, shadowy figure, hair wild and disheveled. The second she spots it, terror takes over, and she bolts back upstairs. Just as she's about to slam the door shut, the shadow shoves her with brutal force, and she crashes to the floor, unconscious. Not long after, neighbors call it in, and the police show up to a scene that leaves them stunned. The strangest part? Zero signs of forced entry. So how did the killer even get inside? To crack the case, the lead detective heads straight to the hospital to question Maddie, but after losing her unborn child, she's in no state to say a single word. About 15 days later, Maddie finally returns home from the hospital, and that's when things get weird again. The streetlight outside starts flickering on its own, and out of nowhere, she spots a man dressed in black walking toward her. Her fear comes rushing right back. She sprints inside and locks every door and window in the house. But while doing laundry, she catches a stranger's face reflected in the mirror, and in the next instant, that same dark figure lunges forward, grabs the woman by the hair, and slams her to the ground. Right then, the entire room shifts into something otherworldly, and Maddie suddenly finds herself transported into that same woman's home. She has no idea what's happening or how. That's when she watches the man in black grab a trophy and beat the woman's head in, over and over, like something possessed. Within seconds, Maddie's back in her own house, and everything looks normal again. She convinces herself it was just a nightmare. But it wasn't a dream, it was very real. Police soon connect the dots. Maddie's husband and this woman were killed in the exact same way, confirming it's the same killer. Turns out, the murdered woman was Dr. Glenn, the very doctor who operated on Maddie 20 years ago. Inside her home, police find files on all her old patients, which makes them suspect the killer could be one of them. The detective grabs every file and heads back to the station to dig through each case. Meanwhile, that night, Maddie lies down to sleep and finds a heavy-set stranger lying right next to her in bed. She freezes in terror, her body completely paralyzed, unable to move an inch. Then that same dark shadow slips out from behind her and slowly climbs on top of the man. It pulls out a massive knife and stabs him again and again. The second the shadow vanishes, Maddie wakes up screaming. Shaken by everything happening around her, she rushes to the police station with her sister and tells the detective everything. But nobody believes a word of it. They laugh her off as delusional. Her sister explodes, telling the detective flat out, "If nothing checks out, Go ahead and lock us both up in an asylum." That's enough to make the detective take it a little more seriously. Not long after, Maddie tracks down the heavyset man's address online. Turns out he lives in the building right across from her. She, her sister, and the detective all head over to check it out. And sure enough, he's lying dead inside his home. Exactly the way Maddie described it. That's the moment the detective becomes convinced Maddie actually saw the killer with her own eyes. Based on her description, police put together a sketch, and it looks like something straight out of a nightmare. Seeing it, her sister starts doubting her again, wondering if Maddie's making the whole thing up. Maddie says nothing and quietly walks away. Digging through Dr. Glenn's old files, the detective stumbles onto a strange case. A 7-year-old patient named Emily, who kept insisting she saw demons and strange, terrifying things. To treat her, Dr. Glenn had teamed up with 2 other doctors on a special treatment plan. Here's the twist. That little girl Emily is Maddie, under a different name. The detective is floored. He pulls up old photos of all 3 doctors and instantly puts it together. 2 are already dead, and the last one left alive is next on the list. Back home, as Maddie's getting ready, she catches a glimpse of that last surviving doctor in her mirror, and in the blink of an eye, she's mysteriously transported into his house. Moments later, the detective shows up too. He opens the door to find the doctor dead in the bathtub. Maddie tries to warn him, tries to help, but he can't see her, can't hear her. Suddenly, that same black-clad monster drops down from the ceiling, tackles the detective to the ground, and takes off running. The detective chases him down into an abandoned building, where the creature leaps from above for a brutal, all-out attack. But the detective's no rookie. He's trained for this. He fights back hard, gun in hand, gaining the upper hand. Realizing the fight's turned against him, the creature bails, scaling the wall and disappearing. Now completely convinced Maddie is connected to all 3 doctors' deaths, the detective heads straight to her place to get the truth. Problem is, Maddie has 0 memory of anything before she turned 8. Desperate for answers, he brings in a psychologist to hypnotize her and dig up those buried memories. The second she goes under, it all comes flooding back. Before her operation, that creature attached to her, she used to call him Gabriel. Gabriel could hijack her mind and force her to see horrifying things that weren't even real. But once he was sealed inside her skull after the surgery, his control faded, until he found a way to jump into other people's bodies and hunt down the very doctors who locked him away. Hearing all this, the detective can't help but feel like Maddie's hiding something. But before he can push further, a woman suddenly drops from the ceiling right in front of them, crashing to the floor. Maddie completely breaks down, and everyone in the room is left in shock. Up until now, everyone believed Maddie was innocent, but the truth is starting to unravel. Turns out, a woman had been held captive on the roof of Maddie's own house, and that's exactly where police find the killer's clothes and knife. Suspicion swings straight onto Maddie, and she's hauled into custody. She keeps insisting she didn't do any of it, that it was all Gabriel. Then the detective's phone rings, an unknown caller. It's Gabriel, claiming he trapped that woman just to frame Maddie, but hearing that voice only deepens the detective's doubt. He starts thinking this whole thing is a setup, Maddie's own twisted plan to make herself look innocent. So he plays it safe and has her locked up in jail, but Maddie's sister refuses to believe she's guilty. Determined to find the truth, she drives straight to the hospital where Maddie's original operation took place, only to find it completely abandoned, not a soul in sight. She pushes forward anyway, searching until she finally uncovers Maddie's old operation file and rushes it back home. When she plays the old videotape, the real truth comes out. That creature attached to Maddie at birth wasn't just showing her scary illusions. He had full control over her entire body, able to move her however he wanted, even kill without hesitation. That's exactly why the doctors sealed him inside her skull for good. And for years, his power stayed dormant. But the day her husband slammed her head into that wall, that impact woke Gabriel back up, and he broke free, using Maddie's body to carry out murder after murder. The truth hits Maddie's sister like a truck. Back in jail, a group of thugs decide Maddie's an easy target and start tormenting her, alone, defenseless, completely at their mercy. They start beating her mercilessly, but the moment one of them yanks her hair, the lights start flickering, and the whole room turns ice cold. In seconds, the thug's hands are drenched in blood, and Maddie's body starts convulsing violently. A monstrous face begins emerging from the back of her skull, and just like that, Gabriel seizes full control of her body. The same thugs who thought she was weak are now the ones in danger. One by one, he tears through them with brutal efficiency, and the entire cell block turns into a bloodbath. Just as he's about to finish off the last one, a guard hears the chaos and opens fire. Gabriel grabs the thug's body as a human shield, uses it as cover, and takes the guard out without mercy. Meanwhile, Maddie's sister rushes to tell the detective everything about Gabriel. That's when screams start echoing from inside the police station. The detective runs in, and what he sees stops him cold. Every inmate, several guards, all dead on the floor, and Maddie? Gone. Nobody realizes she's already broken into the evidence room, grabbed a weapon, and is tearing through the station hallway in a full-blown massacre. Gabriel mows down officer after officer, completely in control of Maddie's body. Unstoppable. Relentless. His fighting skills are so lethal that no one can hold him off for more than a few seconds. The detective finally catches up and starts shouting Maddie's name, desperately trying to snap her out of it. But the truth is, Maddie's still locked away in a cell, completely unaware of the carnage Gabriel's causing in her body. The second she spots the detective holding a weapon, she assumes he's the real killer, and out of sheer fear, she gives up trying to fight for control. Seeing his chance, Gabriel attacks the detective, knocking the gun clean out of his hands. Maddie's sister tries to grab him, but she can't hold him either. Gabriel breaks free and escapes the station. The detective instantly realizes Gabriel's next target is that woman who fell from the roof, and he's heading straight for the hospital to finish her off. Maddie's sister is already there, trying to get the woman moved somewhere safe, but the officers on guard have strict orders. Nobody goes in. So they turn her away too. Suddenly, the hallway lights start flickering, and the officer on duty clutches his chest and collapses. Confused, Maddie's sister rushes to help him, and that's when a violent blast rips through his chest, killing him instantly. Terrified, she bolts for the room and tries to lock the door, but Gabriel's already there. One brutal kick and the door's down. The moment he steps inside, he uses his power to destroy every electronic device in the room, and Maddie's sister shakes with fear. Gabriel pulls out his knife and advances, ready to strike, as Maddie screams from inside, desperately trying to stop him. That's when the detective bursts in and fires 2 shots without hesitation, wounding Gabriel. Just as he's about to finish him off for good, Maddie's sister jumps in front of him to stop the shot, a decision that costs her dearly. In the next second, Gabriel drives the knife straight into the detective's chest, dropping him to the floor. Now Maddie's sister is completely alone. She grabs the gun to defend herself, but she can't bring herself to pull the trigger, because killing Gabriel means killing Maddie too. So instead, she keeps calling out Maddie's name, begging her to fight back and take control. But Gabriel's grip on her body is ironclad. He grabs the hospital bed and hurls it at her, pinning her underneath. Maddie watches it all unfold, trapped in her own body, powerless to stop it, and her sister knows it too. Despite the pain, she makes one last desperate attempt to reach her. "He killed your babies. He's the reason you kept losing them." The words hit Maddie like a lightning bolt. Everything becomes crystal clear, and rage floods through her. She fights with everything she has to take back control of her own body. But before she can, Gabriel shoots her sister, then turns and finishes off the woman lying in the hospital bed too. That's the exact moment Maddie's voice erupts inside Gabriel's mind. He feels the world around him shifting, and it dawns on him. Maddie's awake. She's taken back control. In an instant, he snaps back to consciousness, stunned to realize her sister is somehow still alive. Gabriel is completely thrown off, unable to process it. That's when Maddie makes him understand the truth. The same power he's used to control her all this time is about to be turned against him. Seizing the moment, Maddie locks Gabriel down for good, trapping him inside herself forever. The back of her skull seals shut on its own, and Gabriel's face disappears forever. Slowly, everything settles back to normal. Life returns to how it once was. And that's where this incredible story comes to an end. So, what did you think? Did Maddie really deserve a second shot at a normal life? Or should Gabriel have stayed locked away for good? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I genuinely want to hear them. And hey, if you made it this far, you already know the drill. Smash that like button. It takes 2 seconds and it helps this channel more than you'd think. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on that bell icon, because we drop movie recaps just like this one all the time, and trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.